Hey YouTube, welcome back to Silver Fox Studio. My name's Adam Schwartz, and in this week's tutorial we're going to be covering frequency separation. Now, I use frequency separation to improve on what I did last week, which was the corrective dodge and burn process. And the way I do that is I watch my makeup artist in real life apply highlights and contouring to our clients, our models and such, and I mirror that same basic principle in frequency separation. Now, you can follow my makeup artist at Angelique 417 MUA for makeup artist. And we're using the same photo we've been using this entire process. And our model is Mandy Modeling, and you can find her on Instagram. Her handle will be below. And as always, don't forget to like, follow, and share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, let's get started. All right, so last week we left off on the corrective dodge and burn. This week we're going to learn how to do frequency separation. I like to pair the two together for a better result. So select group 2, hit Command J to duplicate it, Command E to take everything in that group and merge them into one single image. Then you're going to take that image and you're going to duplicate it 3 more times. So Command J, Command J, Command J. Then we're going to take that first duplicated layer and we're going to name it the blur layer. Then we're going to name the second one the texture layer. And we're going to name the third one sharpen layer. That's not really a layer I like to mess with, but I'm going to show you the whole process anyways. Then we're going to select the blur layer, make sure that it's the only one that's visible at the moment, and then we're going to move up to the filter menu. You're going to scroll down to where it's blur and then go over to Gaussian blur and select it. Now here you can pick somewhere between 4 and 9 and I think you'd be okay, but what we're looking for is from the original image. You can kind of see the details. We just want to get rid of the details and make it blurry enough, but not so blurry that it looks like that and you can't really see anything. So 7 is a good number and it removes the details, but still allows you to understand and see what you're viewing. Hit OK. Then you're going to come up to texture layer, select it, make sure it's visible. Come over to the image drop-down menu. Go to Apply Image. Now, under the Layer menu, more than likely, Texture Layer will be selected. You want to select the layer right below it, which is the Blur layer. Then you're going to come to the Blending menu and make sure that it's on Subtract. Opacity set to 100, Scale set to 2, Offset 128. Hit OK. And what you're going to see is we remove the color, and the only thing that remains is the texture. We'll just go back to 22%. Next, you're going to come over here to the drop-down menu and select Linear Light. And that brings it back to its state. And then you're going to come up to the Sharpen layer, make sure it's visible. Come over to Filter menu, come all the way down to Other, and do a high pass on it. And you can pick somewhere between 8 and 12. For this one, I selected 10. It really doesn't matter because I don't use sharpen, but like I said, I'm going to show you the process anyways. Hit OK. Again, select Linear Light, and you can see how much sharper it became. And then you're going to add a layer mask to it and invert that. And what we'll do later when I show you the process of it is we'll take a paintbrush tool, make sure it's on white, and then we'll paint away in small increments the parts that we want to sharpen. All right. So again, going back to the blur layer, making sure it's the only thing visible at the moment, we are going to move over to the mixer brush tool. You're going to come up to here where it says wet, make sure it's set to around 32%. Your load, your mix, and your flow all set to 79%, and then we want to set our smoothing stroke to about 10%. Next, we're going to zoom in And what I like to do is I like to, zoomed in a little too much there, I like to mirror what my makeup artist does and enhance her work. So I like to select a highlighted area under the eye, and I'm going to paint under the eye and kind of give it that nice little highlight. And all we're doing is we're mixing the color together. And we're going to do the same thing over here. Same thing on the chin. These are all places that I've seen Angelique highlight. And what we're doing is, instead of having the different colors on the skin from the flash or the sun, in this case, there's no flash, just the sun, and then parts of the shadow and stuff like that, what we're doing is we're taking the color and just mixing it and blending it so it's all one color. Again, removing the distraction. So she adds a little highlight to the forehead. And then same thing on the ridgeline of the nose and underneath the cheekbone. All right. Next, we're going to start contouring. And the way we're going to do that is select a darker spot in the shadows, and we're going to enhance those areas. Now, the jawline or the chin, the cheekbone, Angelique likes to contour right below that and add a little dimension to the cheek. And then she also likes to add dimension on the jawline. And then she adds a little bit of eyeshadow, so we'll enhance that. And then she contours the nose by coming down the side and adds a little more dimension to the nose and underneath as well. And then the last thing, a little trick I learned from her, to make the lips a little more pouty, we add dimension underneath of it by contouring underneath, and it just makes the lips a little more pouty. Now that we've gotten all the dark spots on, I'm going to take those midtones and kind of blend the highlights and the shadows together. Again, smoothing it all out. I think that looks pretty good on the face. Once the face is done, I move down to the neck and we do the same thing. Again, I like to work on the shadows down here first, then the highlights, just because it goes a little bit quicker. Again, blending them together. All right, let's put that back to 22%. And there we go. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to set the opacity to somewhere between 62 and 75%. And I'm actually liking 68%. And I think that looks good. So we've blended all the colors. So here's a before, here's an after, but it's still blurry. How do we get rid of that additional blur? Well, we add the texture back to it. So we're gonna select the texture layer, make it visible. And again, I don't really mess with this unless I absolutely need to, but I'm gonna show you what the texture layer does. Let's say that you did not like the pores that are natural underneath the eyes. All right, well then you'll come over here to the clone stamp, select it, and just like we did with the mixer brush, you're going to hit Option, where you get your little crosshairs. You're going to select a spot, and then you're going to come over to another spot that you want to fix and just paint it away. And it's that simple. Again, I don't like the way it looks. I don't think it looks natural. It's just a little too much for me, so I'm going to undo those. But that's how you would do that, and you can do that on any part. I will say that if you're going to do it, keep it around the spots that you are using. So the forehead has different texture than underneath the eyes, and the sides of the face have different texture than underneath the eyes, and the chin has a different texture than the rest of the face. So try to keep it somewhat in the same area if you're going to do it. And the last thing I'm going to show you is the sharpen layer. And again, something I don't personally do, and I don't do it because I don't like the way it looks in printed format. It looks great in digital format, but in printed format, it looks like trash. So we're going to make sure that white is selected, and then we are going to sharpen and make sure your opacity, you want small increments. So about 25%, 50% flow over here. And we're just going to sharpen the eyebrows, the eyes, and the lips, and then underneath the nose and the nose ring. And I'll show you what it looks like here. You can kind of already see it becoming sharper. And again, it looks really good in digital format. Kind of draws attention to it. But again, when it prints, so here's the before and after sharpening, but when it prints, it just looks like complete trash. That's just my opinion. So I'm going to select black, set opacity to 100, and flow to 100, and I'm just going to go back over that and remove it all. All right. So we're going to group this so you can kind of see the before and after. Now, group 7 this week reflects the same as group 3, whereas group 7 last week represented group 2. So here's the before, here's the after, here's the before from what we did from last week to this week. So that's corrective, dodge, and burn, and that is frequency separation added. If you want to see what it looks like from the beginning till now, there's the beginning, and that is with corrective, dodge, and burn and frequency separation. Again, not changing Mandy at all, just removing any distractions so you can kind of focus on her beauty. If you have any questions or comments and you don't understand something, by all means leave a comment below. I'll respond to you and explain why I did what I did. If you have a better way of doing something, by all means leave a comment below and I'll check it out. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on Silver Fox YouTube channel, as well as on Instagram at Silver Fox Studio. You can also follow Mandy at Mandy Ray Modeling on Instagram, and Angelique 417 MUA for makeup artists on Instagram as well. All right, until next week, have a good time. Now, I like to take what my makeup artist does in real life. All right. This week's tutorial, we're going to come. Hey YouTube, welcome back to Silver Fox Studio. My name's Adam Schwartz, and in this Hey, Silver Fox. Fuck. Hey, Silver Fox. Hey, how you doing? I'm good. How you doing? And in this week's